Tunisia, Paris, Belgium, all these terrorist-related events which have got people obviously on edge. What is going on? We're going to talk to Omar Ramadan about it, head of the Radicalisation Awareness Network, a program which is part of the European Commission. He's on Skype from Amsterdam. Omar, do you start to look at these events as a whole, or are they all to you sort of separate events which just happen to have happened at the same time?
No, indeed. I mean, they are linked with each other. There is a clear pattern, and there is a competition between Daesh or ISIL on the one hand and Al-Qaeda affiliated groups on the other hand. A competition in attracting European youngsters and others to join them. And this competition, sadly enough, consists of plotting attacks and showing who is most successful in doing so.
So you're dealing with radicalization awareness, prevention, I guess, in the end. Arguably, it's not working at the moment. Governments have put a lot into this idea of trying to stop the terrorism before it happens. Right now, it's not having any impact.
Well, I think I need to disagree on that. The prevention of radicalization does indeed have effect and does work. Of course, it does not prevent all people from radicalizing to violent extremism, but there are many examples of successful prevention. And you see across Europe a great difference between cities and even countries that are successful in such prevent efforts.
Give me an example then, please.
Well, for instance, Belgium, which has, of course, been in the news also on our channel a lot lately. The neighborhood of Molenbeek in Brussels. Many foreign terrorist fighters come from there, and many people involved in the Paris attacks come from there. Very close by, there is a suburb called Vilvoorde, but it invested a lot in prevent efforts. Previously, most foreign terrorist fighters to Syria came from this little town of Vilvoorde, actually a suburb of Brussels. Relatively, most in all of Europe came from there, but ever since they stepped up their prevent efforts, they engaged with communities. No youngsters left that little town to join Daesh. So apparently prevention works.
So tell me more about what you consider to be effective ways of preventing, because I've always sort of held this feeling that if someone wants to blow themselves up and kill other people, then they're going to do it. They will find a way to do it, and that is hard to stop. The actual events are hard to stop. But what about preventing, as you say, the actual joining in the first place?
Indeed. I mean, if people are brainwashed and radicalized and already, well, terrorists, prevent efforts won't work. But you need to aim your efforts at their younger brothers and sisters, at their peers, the people in their schools. And how does that look? Well, for instance, the police. Of course, the police should arrest terrorists and should put repressive measures in place, but it should also prevent. It should have community police officers, like in Belgium, the Netherlands, the UK, and other countries, where those community police officers actually partner with parents, and parents feel comfortable to share concerns with them without being worried that their sons and daughters are immediately arrested. So that prevent, in the end, needs to happen in a very early phase. You need to step in and detect radicalization in a very early phase. Also schools. Schools are very well placed to hold difficult conversations in classrooms. If students refer to Daesh or are, well, just being pupils or teenagers and having fierce opinions, you need to engage in discussions, be genuinely interested, debate with them, and there are many ways. Teachers across Europe have found many ways to discuss with pupils in classrooms in successful ways, and planting seeds of doubts in their minds about violent extremism, so that they come to the conclusion by themselves that terrorism is not their route.
Omar Ramadan, very interesting to get your thoughts. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you too.
Plenty more on the news hour still to come. We're in Brazil, where women have been given a panic button that can alert the police if they're being attacked. Also, no end in sight to the standoff in Central America as Cuban migrants find themselves stranded on their way to the United States. And in sport, the Golden State Warriors make NBA history. Sana with all the details at about 10 to the hour.